Everything you need to know about fair market value. Today, we're diving into a topic that's super important if you're buying, selling, or just curious about real estate, fair market value, or FMV for short. Whether you're a homeowner, an investor, or someone who's just trying to figure out what their dream house might be worth, understanding FMV is key. So let's break it down together. What it is, how it's calculated, why it matters, and a few things that might surprise you along the way. Ready? Let's get started. First off, what exactly is fair market value? Well, imagine you're selling your house. Fair market value is the price that your property would likely sell for on the open market, assuming both you, the seller, and the buyer are acting willingly, without any pressure, and you both have a good understanding of the property's worth. It's not about what you want to get for it, or what someone hopes to pay. It's about what the market says it's worth, based on real-world conditions. Now you might be wondering, how do we figure out what that number actually is? FMV isn't just a wild guess. It's based on a mix of factors. The big one is comparable sales, or comps. These are recent sales of similar properties in your area. Think same neighborhood, similar size, age, and condition. For example, if a 3-bedroom house down the street sold for $400,000 last month, that's a strong clue about your own home's FMV. But it's not just about copying that number. Things like upgrades, say a shiny new kitchen, or even a bigger lot can push your value up. On the flip side, if your place needs repairs, that might pull it down. Location is another huge piece of the puzzle. You've probably heard the saying, location, location, location in real estate, right? It's true. A house in a bustling city center might have a higher FMV than one way out in the countryside, even if they're identical in every other way. Schools, parks, shopping, even how close you are to a highway, all of that gets factored in. And here's a fun fact. FMV can change over time. If your neighborhood suddenly becomes the hot new spot, or if the market takes a dip, that value can shift. It's like a living, breathing number. So, who decides this magic number? Often, it's a professional appraiser. They'll come in, look at your property, compare it to those comps we talked about, and crunch the numbers. But if you're just curious, real estate agents can give you an estimate too, often called a comparative market analysis, or CMA. And these days, you can even check online tools like Zillow or Redfin for a quick ballpark figure, though those aren't always spot on, so take them with a grain of salt. Now, why does FMV matter? It's not just for bragging rights at the neighborhood barbecue. FMV pops up in all sorts of situations. If you're selling your house, it helps you set a fair price. If you're buying, it keeps you from overpaying. It's also a big deal for taxes, like property taxes or capital gains when you sell. Even in divorce settlements or estate planning, FMV can determine how assets get split up. Basically, it's the number that keeps everything fair and square. Here's a question I get a lot. Is FMV the same as what I paid for my house? Nope. What you paid 5 years ago might not match today's market. Maybe you got a steal back then, or maybe prices have skyrocketed since. FMV reflects current conditions, not your original deal. Another one, what about the assessed value for taxes? That's different too. Tax assessments might lag behind the market or use a different formula, so don't assume they're interchangeable. One thing to watch out for, FMV assumes a willing buyer and willing seller. If someone's desperate to sell, like in a foreclosure, or if a buyer's throwing cash around to snag their dream home, the price might not reflect true FMV. Those are exceptions, not the rule. Oh, and renovations? They can boost your FMV, but not always dollar for dollar. A $50,000 pool might only add $30,000 to your value, depending on what buyers in your area care about. So, there you have it, a crash course on fair market value. It's all about finding that sweet spot where buyers, sellers, and the market agree. Whether you're planning your next move or just keeping tabs on your biggest asset, knowing your FMV gives you power. Thanks for joining me today. And if you want to stay ahead in the real estate game, keep exploring with ascending assets. See you next time.